Hello and welcome to today's video on high altitude investing. Today is going to be how to determine trending and some tips on how you can see whether a trend is reversing or not. So this is basically if you see something going up for a long time, then it's trending up, and if you see something going down for a long time, it's probably trending down. So let me just get my notes out here. Okay, so let's switch to my computer screen here. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Factum. Now I'm looking at Factum right now, and this is what I've been talking with a little bit in my Discord friends for the day. Talking a whole bunch of stuff. Shout out to US Marine. He's been talking about some chart movement, and I really appreciate that. Also, shout out to Pygos and Lycos. You guys keep the community going, and Sid H008. You guys all have been helping keep this community going really nicely in Tech Walks. I appreciate that. So you're almost always online. Same with Damien. So keep up the good work. I appreciate that. And watch out for moderators soon too. I should have some moderator positions opening up soon. So let's get into how to define a trend. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a little bit bigger time scale here. I'm on tradingview.com. Now, if I want to define a trend, I say, okay, what period of time in which I'm going to define this trend? So if I'm trading in, let's say I want to buy and I want to hold something for about a month, okay? Or maybe let's go with a couple weeks. That's a little bit easier. So let's go back on the bottom of my screen here. You can see what day it is, right next to the bottom of this line right here. You can see what day it is. So let's go back to the 1st of this month, okay? So here is the 1st of February. I'm just going to go ahead and put a vertical line on the 1st of February. Where is it? Aha. Okay, so there's the 1st of February. That actually did not work. That was weird. Oh, that's a horizontal ray. I need a vertical line on the 1st of February. Okay, awesome. Now we have a vertical line on the 1st of February. And let's say that I'm trying to trade in about a week's period of time. So I want to buy something and sell it in a week. Now this works for any period of time, but this is basically how you determine a trend within a given period of time, which is the most useful way to determine a trend, because then you have a better idea of where it's going to, the history can tell the future, not all the time, but history can be a good indication of what may happen down the road. So let's go here about to a week's forward. So if we put a line right here, this is a week's forward. So from when we started this and from when we end it, we are seeing trending in the downside. So that means that that week it trended on the downside. Now we see a little pump up right here, but it's the beginning of a new week. So let's go count over our next area, which would be 14. It's really important to count by sevens if you're to know how to accurately and quickly count by sevens if you're a week trader. Some people trade just once a week. They put on a trade and they do it this way. A lot of times they'll do trending like this. So I'm just putting these in and out of the bodies. I'm not paying too much attention to the wicks, because the wicks, there's price movement you might not have been able to get in on. And as you can see, for basically a month here, for an entire month, you have steady trending on the side that is going down. So what can you learn from this? Well, you can learn that you can learn that for a given period of time, if you see this happen, let's say that you see this happen for 3 weeks in a row, and then the trend reverses, okay? So let's say you see this happen for 3 weeks in a row, and then the next week happens, and this trend reverses, all right? And you're like, oh, hey, this trend started going a different direction. I'll show you how to determine whether a trend is reversing in the future of this video, down the road in this video, not the future. Nobody can tell the future. I wish I could. I still do to this day. Wish I could. So let's say, you know, maybe the trend will reverse after 3 weeks of trending down, you know, and then the trend goes back to trending up, but say it only trends up 1 week and then goes right back to trending down. So basically what you'd be looking for is, if you're looking for trending, and if you're looking to trade as a trend trader, because that's an actual thing, if you're a trend trader, then you're trading inside those trends, then you look for that type of thing. Is how many weeks does it take, or how many given periods of time does it take until the trend reverses? And that's a good way that you can just, you know, keep shorting something or keep going long on something, determining, you know, what direction the trend is going. So let's go ahead and look at the 1 month here, and oops, not 1 month. That's not even that much time, in fact. All right, so let's look at a little bit bigger graph here of Factum, and I'm gonna go ahead and clear my drawing tools. All right, now if you look here and we determine what is Factum doing overall, well, Factum overall is clearly trending upwards. Now yes, there's a little bit of inflation, or price moves up and out of the stabilization zones. Sometimes the price is coming, you know, when it hits this resistance point, it stabilizes and it comes right out. So what we can learn from this is, hey, look, it's right back to this resistance point. I'll draw some arrows here for you. So it's right back at this resistance point. Well, what would we know at this important resistance point? Every time it hits it in the past, it seems to be going up. So what can it do this time? Well, if it goes to that same resistance point this time, which it did, then we could naturally assume that it's going to go up. But that doesn't mean it always will. Now, I will show you a couple things in which you can use to determine that. So let me go ahead and clear my drawing here. Excellent. So, still recording. Excellent. So, something that I like to look for is something that I taught you guys in my last video, which is candlesticks. I highly recommend it. Is what's called a bearish. This is my favorite trading signal, is to know what direction the trend is going. A bearish engulfing or a bullish engulfing. So let me show you here. I'll show you a bullish first, since this is what we would be looking for. Bullish means the trend going up, bearish means the trend going down, and so this candlestick generally indicates that there's a reversal in the trend in whatever direction. So a bullish engulfing would mean a reversal on the upside. So here is an excellent example of a bullish engulfing candlestick. The blue being the bullish candles and the red being the bearish candles. Now, as you can see, the body of this candle, let me get a full screen here for you guys. It should be a little bit better. So the bottom of this candle is, you know, about at the same spot as the red point. But the important thing to note here is the fact that, and this works on any time frame too, but the important thing to note here is at the top, the body of the green candlestick, or in this case blue, is higher than the top of the red one. So that means so people were started when this candlestick started. Let's say this is 5-minute time frame. When this candlestick started, the price was right here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and draw on this. Let's see if I can get this out of the way. So the price was right. Wow, the price was right here when this candlestick started, and then it went to right here when this candlestick closed. This is kind of a pain because I'm all zoomed in. Apparently this drawing plugin has issues. Now this one closed right here and opened right here. So that means this candlestick, there was a move down in the market, and in this candlestick, there was a move up in the market. And that's what determines whether, you know, like I said, go check out my video on candlesticks. It's really good. But that's what determines whether it's a bullish or a bearish candlestick, is whether it closes lower than it opened, or whether it opens higher than it closes higher than it opened, excuse me. So yeah, this zone right here is above this zone on the bullish candlestick, and that's what determines it. So I'll show you an example of one. Let me just go ahead and go to Factum here. Okay, so this is an example of one that could potentially be forming inside of Factum. So this could potentially be a buy signal forming. Now you want to wait until the next candlestick comes, because this candlestick is still fulfilling information. So there could be a swing down in the market still, and then that would cause you to be very sad that you just lost some money if you went long and you thought you're, you know, yeah. If you thought it was going to go up and it didn't. Now, here's what you want to do, is when the next candlestick forms, so tomorrow, when the next candlestick forms in Factum, if this one is still holding true as a bullish engulfing candlestick, being that it is higher than the open point, this point's close is higher than the open point of the bearish candlestick right here that happened, then you could see a nice reversal in this trend, because we've been trending down for, you know, a few weeks here. Been trending down for a few weeks, and so if this turns out to be a nice bullish candlestick, this is a bullish engulfing too. So if we had two of those form, then that would be an excellent sign as to where the price is going. Now, here's the other version. Let me show you the other version of this candlestick. It's the exact same thing, just the other way around. So here's a bearish engulfing. Now remember, the most important thing is, what is your buy price? So when did you get into the market, and when are you planning to get out of the market, and where can you set your stop loss so that you're either in profit or you minimize your losses inside of a trade, especially if you're day trading and not just long, you know, going long and holding. And obviously it's important to be able to do both, but because then you'll just be a more, you know, controlled trader. But you know, here is a prime example of basically just a big old sell signal inside of Factum. Now let me show you what this looks like. Candlesticks bearish engulfing. So here's a bearish engulfing candlestick. Now if we see, well, did Factum ever make a bearish engulfing candlestick? Let's find out. Here's a bearish engulfing candlestick. And look what it did after that. It came up just to test, you know, quickly test this double top right here that it made. And then after that double top that it made, it went down and started trending downwards. Quite significantly, it started trending downwards. Now let's go ahead and see if we can find another bearish engulfing candlestick inside of Factum and see if it holds true. This is a lot better of one. This is the type of one that you want to really, really be looking for. So right here in the market, this is an indecision point in the market, right? Now that basically means that the price hasn't, this is like, it's hitting a top. They know that it's hitting a top. There's a lot of people getting out of the market. These wicks right here going up. So people are selling out, but until, you know, they don't know for sure whether the trend is going to continue. You can see some pushing up right here in the market. So they don't know for sure if the trend is going to continue unless they see this, and this is a reversal signal of its trend. Right here we have a perfect bearish engulfing candlestick form. Now this works better in larger time frames, but it can be just as effective in shorter time frames, especially with a lot of volume. So that was a signal that, you know, Fractal was going to go down, and sure enough it came down and it trended down. So let me draw a trend line here until the trend reversed, and I'll show you why the trend reversed too. So we have from here clear down to here, we have this huge trending down. Okay, so a lot of trending down after this signal. And if you look, this signal isn't very laggy. It told you that it was going to go down for quite a while pretty early on, right? So the signal happened right here. You could have got into the market right here, and then you could have short sold it all the way until you saw a reason to you know, get out of your short position. So let me show you what that reason is. I'll show you the reversal of the trend. Oh, come on. There we go. Now, what is the reversal of the trend that they, you know, that appears in this case right here? Well, it's pretty obvious if you look. This one isn't quite as obvious as the other one, but it's still a huge bullish engulfing candlestick. So, you know, we have this right here. They started at the bottom point at the same time together, but this one just pumped up really, really hard. And, you know, that's usually a good sign. That's actually a very, very excellent buy signal. And ever since then, in Fractal, we've seen nice trending up. And we could see another one of these bullish engulfing candlesticks form. But if you go watch my other video, like I said, I have a Google Documents download, and it has a list of these candlestick formations that I look out for. Now you want to remember if the candlestick is done forming, because it can still move up and down in price throughout the day. But that's basically how you can determine trending, how you can determine a reversal in a trend. A lot of times, one more little thing that's useful to determine a reversal in a trend is what's called the bowling bottom, or the rounded bottom. And if you look here in Fractal, we saw, now this one is a little bit laggier because you don't notice that it's working until a little bit above some good entry points where you could have seen this bullish engulfing. So your entry price has to be somewhere around right here for this. But yeah, that's a huge reversal signal. And it can also happen on the other ways. You can see right here, we had that happen, and that was a reversal signal on the way down. So we've had a lot of swinging up and down inside this market, and it's also a really good one for trending because of that, because there's a lot of, you know, you can see where the trending happened. But the best market to look at as far as trending goes is my favorite market to buy and hold, and that's because it's the best at trending. And that is Bitcoin. Now, you know, the next few days is really, really important as to where the price of Bitcoin is going. We could see it come, you know, dump really hard, or we could see it keep going nicely like it is, and how I suspect, and that's if the ETF gets approved. So what I'm thinking is, yeah, my original thoughts, I know, on the ETF was that it wasn't going to get approved, but I'm starting to think that it will get approved now, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, this one is just trending up very nicely. As you can see, it started this trend right here back in October of 2015, and you know, it hasn't ended its trend yet because it hasn't made a reversal pattern yet, but it's just been trending up very, very nicely ever since then. So that's basically what trends are in markets, how to utilize them, and how you can start using trends to find a better entry point in your your buy price and a better exit point. It's very, very important to pay attention to those things, where the market direction is headed. And it's really, really important on whatever time scale you're working with too, to make sure that you have your trend lines, because they can be support, they can also be resistance. You can have a resistance trend, you can have a support trend, you can have all kinds of different trends inside of a market. You can even well, I mean, trending, this is price trending, right? But you could even go as far as to say a trend in a specific way that a market moves, and that's called fractaling, is another term for it. So if a market moves in a certain way and kind of grows or shrinks in that same formation, then that can be a trend as to that fractal. So I'll quickly show you one real quick. I was about to end the video here, but I want to show you a fractal that happens inside of Bitcoin. Bitcoin always pumps up like this and then comes down to test its 38% level like that every time. So let me show you what I mean. So from the bottom point here to the top point here, Bitcoin came and tested its 61%, and since this one's upside down, this fib thing, it's its 31%. Now if you go down the road in Bitcoin, it always came, now this one went a little bit below, and the one after that went a little bit below too, but it always, I should have worded it differently, it always finds support at its 38% resistance. So let's go right here and look. Let me clear this chart up for you guys, this is a little messy. So let's go right here and look, and at its 38% it found support. So Bitcoin loves, now sometimes it breaks a little lower, you know, this was like hacking, this time it broke low because of Chinese exchanges, so there's things that could make it break lower, but it always does this, where you see it, even right here in Bitcoin, you know, here's our top point and here's our bottom point, and it found its support at 38%. So that's a fractal or something, you know, some people, you can consider that a fractal. So here's the 38% zone right here. Wow, I'm terrible at that. I hate these lines and stuff on TradingView. Honestly, on Crypto Watch, I like TradingView better. So this really thick spot that I just put that line is its 38%. So Bitcoin, when it makes a run, it jumps up, it hits the top, it might come down for support. The last 2 times it did, and then it always finds support and then breaks high at 38%. So that's a trend, you know, where Bitcoin does that. So there's different types of trends, but this is price trending, and it's very, very important to pay attention to. And it's basically what's driven Bitcoin so high is the fact that the price is trending up so much that more and more people get into the market, and then it just trends more and more up, and it's exponential growth. If you notice here in Bitcoin, these trend lines that we're getting are starting to get steeper and steeper, and that's because the growth of the direction in the market is getting steeper. So what I mean by that is, if you look back, let me go into the 1 week real quick. If you look back, this trend line, you know, kind of follows along the bottom of this. Actually, I'll draw a perfect one for you guys. Okay, so this trend line follows along the bottom of this, and it only goes below that a tiny, tiny bit for a fraction of a period of time in 2 places, and everything else is just exponential trending growth. So yeah, that's what trends are, that's how to use them. You know, you want to make sure that you get in at a nice reversal of a trend, like this was a reversal pattern in Bitcoin, where we saw, let me go to the 3 days, where we saw our huge buy signal. Right here was a huge buy signal. That's a bullish engulfing. And then we saw more bullish engulfing candlesticks down the road in Bitcoin too. So yeah, those are things to be paying attention to, stuff you want to look at, things that I look at while I'm trading. See bullish engulfing right here. So yeah, basically that's trending. I kind of extended that video out a little bit longer than I needed to, but I hope you guys enjoyed this and learned something. Any suggestions, any constructive criticism, I would gladly appreciate it. You know, anything that you want to teach me. I'm a trader too. I'm not the best trader in the world. I'm a pretty good trader. You know, I've been around. I make money doing it, and I consistently make growth, and I have friends that do pretty well too. But you know, there's always knowledge, and I'm open to hear what you guys have to teach me or say to me too. So I just want the whole community to grow and get better. You guys can email me or whatever you want to. Hit that like and subscribe button if you like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more. I upload daily. So yeah, that's today's video. It's trending. In summary, it can be used to determine how long you want to stay into a trade, because you have a given period of time in which it generally in history seems to go that way. You know, I have a video on back testing, and that's how you can determine whether a certain thing that happens in a market can be useful in the future. So, you know, then you can forward test it, it's called. So yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay profitable.